Hi, this is Sam Gazejak with Independent Processor Magazine. We're talking here today with Donna Kilpatrick, who is the operations manager at Heifer Ranch. Donna, thanks for taking a couple of minutes to talk with us today.
Oh, thanks so much for having me, Sam. It's a pleasure to be here.
All right. So we're talking a little bit about some of the operations that are going on with Heifer and how that is working with small producers and small processors. But could you talk to us a little bit about what your duties are at Heifer Ranch and who you work with and how that helps?
Sure. So my title is actually ranch manager and land steward at the ranch. And so my job is to oversee all agricultural operations here at Heifer Ranch. And those operations include both market gardening. We have a 3-acre certified organic market garden. And then we also have a livestock production operation where we grow product for grassroots farmers cooperative. So within that, we grow grass-finished beef, grass-finished lamb, pastured woodlot pork, and then poultry, both broilers, so pastured chickens, as well as turkeys that we grow outside on pasture. And so I have the opportunity to work with 5 staff members who work on a daily basis on these enterprises. In addition to production, we train a lot of farmers. So the way that we connect with Grassroots Farmers Cooperative is, one, we're a producer in our enterprises and our livestock enterprises. And 2, we offer a very diverse and thorough training program for the general public. So anyone who's interested in learning about production and livestock and market garden. And then we're focusing more and more on identifying people that might want to grow for grassroots and providing training either at the ranch or through a digital format.
All right. So when you're working with small producers about sustainable practices, because I know that's something that a lot of small meat processors are really, they're hanging their hat on, is that this is all natural, all grass-fed, or how they have it. So when you're working with the producers then, what are some of the common questions that they have or misconceptions that they might have about sustainable agriculture?
I think one of the main things that people always want to know is, what's my return on investment going to be? Let's say conventional farmers thinking about turning in, sort of focusing more on a regenerative approach, more of an approach that focuses on the whole ecosystem instead of, say, a monoculture or a more specialty crop. I think that there are concerns there that, one is there a market. Grassroots Farmers Cooperative, and through our experience at Heifer Ranch, we really feel like more and more so people are very interested in where their food comes from, what the source of it is, how that animal is raised. And we're seeing, especially during the COVID epidemic, just a real interest from the general public in finding a high quality, humanely raised product that they can safely get to their families. So where a lot of people in agriculture are sort of in a quandary of, I'm having a hard time tapping into markets, or we see bottlenecks, for example, in big processing facilities. We're seeing the exact opposite as smallholder producers with our market with grassroots. And that's a wide interest from the general public in wanting these high quality products.
So now, obviously, you're saying the coronavirus has impacted agriculture in many different ways. So, what are some of the top concerns that you're seeing with producers during this particular time of the pandemic?
Well, I mean, as I said before, we've seen nationally bottlenecks in large supply chains. So, anytime you have a really long value chain, you're going to have more opportunities for there to be a breakdown. So with, some of the things that we've seen in the news with large facilities such as, Tyson and those type of plants is that they have experienced those breakdowns with illness, with people working at those facilities getting sick, and then that causes a massive shutdown, which leads to a shortage or a perceived shortage for the general population buying protein at the grocery store. And we've seen the opposite through the e-commerce platform, through grassroots, a new interest and a rising interest in the general public and having a clean supply of meat and knowing where that product comes from. The fact that they can buy our product, use a barcode and see through blockchain technology where the animal is raised, what it ate, and the different steps that it took in its lifetime, from growing up on the ranch to arriving at that person's plate after they have ordered meat from us, just seeing a very transparent process of that animal's life. So for smallholder farmers who have the ability to participate in a co-op or to be, I think smallholder farmers are very nimble. They're entrepreneurs. They're used to having to sort of change paths quickly, and they build relationships with their customers, which is very different than what you see in a large supply chain situation where you don't have that customer relationship. So I think smallholder farmers are very used to being nimble and adjusting and reacting quickly. And throughout this pandemic, we've seen that not only through grassroots, but the market in Little Rock where we buy our produce, they've adjusted to a different system. Instead of a standard farmer's market, what they're doing is setting up, delivering their product to a church, and then you order ahead and you go and you pick it up and someone brings it to your car. So that's the ability to adapt and to adjust, and it's been working.
Okay, so as you said, the present right now for these small producers and processors is pretty bright. How do you think the long-term outlook is going to be when the supply chain maybe starts to get back to normal and the big box grocery stores start to fill up again? How do you think these small people are going to be able to hold on to the customer base that they found now?
Well, I think again, you build relationships, and I think that's one of the things that smallholder farmers have to do to be successful, is to develop relationships with their customers, and to continue those relationships. I've given the example before, like when I go to Kroger's and I buy vegetables at the Kroger, I see the people working in the grocery store, but I don't know them. When I go to my, farmer's market on Saturday, I have a group of about 5 buyers that I buy from. I know them by name. I know their families. I follow them on social media. So there's a relationship built. I think that gives the smallholder farmer a leg up. And I feel like once you develop those relationships, so after we get through this pandemic, that the customer is going to remain, hopefully the hope is that the customer is going to remain faithful to those producers because of their relationship and because they've experienced a premium product, and have experienced with relative ease the act of getting that product home to their family.
Well, Donna, that's all we have for now. So thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.